This is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm excited to be sharing my organization tips, tricks, and ideas with you. I've been crafting for a very long time, and I've learned throughout the years what works and doesn't work for me. Some of these might work for you, some of them might not, but I just want to share with you. Maybe it will inspire you to get organized and inspire you to find new ways to organize your products. So I'm going to get to it. I hope you enjoy it. I do have a playlist of my Craftroom tours, organization videos here on my YouTube channel. So I will link that up at the eye for you. And I hope you enjoy watching this video. And if you do, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And let's get to it. Let me share my tips and tricks on how you can organize your craft room. Okay, you guys, let's start with my stamp sets and how I organize them. I like to organize my stamps in these white Ikea buckets. They are a favorite. And I organize by brand, not theme. My brain just works that way. I can find a stamp easily if I know the brand than having them by theme. But I also like to organize them in this shelving unit from Wayfair. They fit my buckets perfectly. They're not too big and bulky, and I have one set on my desk, and another one is set on a cabinet next to my desk. If you haven't watched my craft room tour, I definitely recommend it. But anyways, this is what it looks like, and I am going to show you how I organize each individual stamp set. I will grab one of the buckets from my shelves, and I'm going to share with you how and where I got these dividers and these envelopes. Now, first off, the dividers are from the Stamp Market. They are actually the part of her organization for stamps, but I use them as dividers and not for organizing my stamps, if that makes sense. I also use these stamp sleeves. I get them from all kinds of places. So one of them is Studio Calico, Everyday Explorers, and Everyday Plastics. And I will link all of them down in the description box for you. I trim down some white cardstock, add it into my sleeve, and I add a label of the name of the stamp set. So basically I use my label maker. I just use a really cheap one, add the brand and the name of the stamp to each sleeve. And I also add it to my divider. This is really basic. Honestly, I don't go all out. I don't try to find different and new ways to organize my stamps. This literally works for me. I also did want to share with you how I stick my two plastics together. I literally just use tape. It could be Scotch tape. It could be whatever tape I have available. If it's transparent, it works. And I just stick them back to back. And that way you never lose your piece of plastic ever. And it's just a cheap and easy way to keep your stamp set sealed and you won't lose that plastic cover ever. Anyways, I also wanted to share with you how I organize my 3x4s. I have two different ways to do this. One of them is actually using the same stamp sleeves and adding two 3x4s in the stamp sleeve, also adding two labels. So I will label both stamps, and I do the same thing, by the way. I stick the plastic together. That way I never lose the backing of my stamp set. And I have a different way as well, and I'm going to share it with you in a little bit, how to organize your 3x4s if you don't like adding two stamp sets in one sleeve. If you're looking for a different way to organize your 3x4s, I recommend this box from scrapbook.com. It's perfect. It fits my 3x4s side by side, and I use the same little pockets that I use for my 4x6s, but I grab the 3x4s. Now, the Everyday Plastic company does not have this size, so I get the size from Studio Calico, and I make sure every time I have a few that needs some of those pockets, I'll grab a few packs from Studio Calico, and that way I can have all my stamps cohesive and looking good. I also do use this organizer to organize my small 2x3s. I don't have a lot of these. These used to come in my old Studio Calico kits, but I grabbed these little sleeves from scrapbook.com and they're 2x3s, and you can slide your little stamps in there as well. I think those are by Totally Tiffany. But as you can see, everything fits nicely, and I can kind of go through these and find what I need. And I'm just sharing with you right now, if I do not have sleeves on hand, I will just trim off the top of the packaging and just have it in this box until I get some new sleeves to add my newer stamps in. But that way it makes it easier to grab your stamp set if you don't have some of these sleeves. But I love this container. It fits my 3x4 stamps perfectly. Let's move on to how I store my 6x6. These are all from Close to My Heart. I love their stamp sets, but they're kind of an awkward size. So I actually bought the Close to My Heart container itself, and it fits all my Close to My Heart stamp sets. The most thing I love about Close to My Heart stamp sets is the little envelopes your stamps come in. They are perfect. I even buy extras because they're perfect to organize your embellishments, and I will share that later on throughout the video. But this is a great little container if you have 6x6s or 8x8s. I think they have 2 different sizes you can choose from, but it's just perfect, and it has a little handle, which I totally love. Let's move on to my 6x8 stamp sets. I use the same method. Basically, they go into the same envelopes, but these envelopes are 6x8. I get them from Studio Calico, and I use the same type of dividers from the stamp market. I just trimmed them down a little bit to fit into my containers. And I use this container from Amazon. It's one of those fridge containers. As always, I will be linking everything in the description box. And you can see here for my 6x8s, I actually just use printer paper because I don't want to waste my paper, but you can definitely use cardstock. But that's basically how I store them. This container, no space anymore. As you can see, I have stamp sets on the side that don't fit, but I'm okay with that. Once I feel like I need another one, I will definitely grab one from Amazon. But that's my stamp storage. As you can see, I love it. It's the best. I'm really, really happy with how I have everything organized. Now let's move on to my embellishments. I like to have my embellishments out in the open. I want to see what I have. If I don't see it, I'm not going to use it. So I've been using these acrylic drawers for years. It's been over 6 years, you guys. I love them. They're actually made, I think, for makeup organizing and things like that, but they work perfectly for storing my embellishments. I actually label every single drawer, and I have about 2 of these for my embellishments. I love these containers. They are not expensive, and honestly, they're worth every single penny. I don't think any other storage worked for me. I actually even have another one here. This is a smaller version, and it's actually to organize your glasses, but I use it to organize my chipboard. I love these chipboards. I got them like in bulk in a package, and so I just needed to see all the colors, and this just worked out perfectly for me. So I have them separated by color in those organizers. Now let's take a closer look. As you can see, I have like a drawer for stickers, and I throw all my stickers in there, and every once in a while I'll go through these drawers like at least 3 to 4 times a year and empty them out, like kind of go through it and see what I like, what I don't like, what I didn't use for the year, like I shouldn't keep it in there, especially if it gets bulky. And I even move stickers around. As you can see here, I move my puffy stickers up because this sheet is almost out, so I don't need that bulk of the plastic in my drawer. So I move things around, shift them around, and fit them closer to each other. That way I can grab my scissors and just trim off the bottom portion and just dump that, or even keep it if I wanted to stick other stickers on there. So this is my method of keeping these drawers organized. Definitely go through them. Don't overdo it, because if you have too much bulk in there, they will get stuck and they're harder to open and pull out. And I'm showing you here how I also do that to my chipboards. I just trim them down once the sheet is like empty, or I'll grab my have-to bowl and add some of those chipboards to my have-to bowl. And this bowl is, I call it my have-to bowl because I want to use these chipboards before I grab my drawer of chipboards because they're just loose and it's just better for me to kind of use them up before using my newer chipboard, if that makes sense. Basically, I just pop them out, add them into my have-to bowl, and throw out that piece of chipboard, and we're good to go. Let's move on to how I store my washi tape. This year, I decided that I'm going to set my favorites out in the open because I tend to not use my washi as much as I want to. So I use this wood tray, organize my favorites, and I can see them. They're sitting on my desk, and I even use these little cutters to cut through my washi. They are perfect if you have a favorite washi tape and you can just have it set on your favorite, the one you use all the time. But I just leave them in my tray, and whenever I'm using my washi, I just grab it and it helps cut through my washi tape. I also use this 3-drawer acrylic organizer. This one's very similar to my chipboard organizer, and I try my hardest not to outgrow this. I actually decluttered my washi. I went through them this year, made sure I took out anything that I don't use. I donated them all. And if I outgrow these 3 drawers, then I need to go through the drawers and get rid of 1 or 2 to make space for the new ones. I just really don't want to keep buying washi if I'm not using it. And I don't want to keep hoarding washi tape, honestly. So if I can get rid of some, I'm going to do it. I want to share with you how I store my ink pads. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know how much I love my ink pads and stamps. So I have a lot of them. So I need a lot of space. And I love these ink pad storage units from Organize More. They are pricey, but they are beautiful and they fit a lot of ink pads in there. All I do is I stamp my color on sticker paper and then add it as a label. So when I'm looking at my ink pads, I know what color I'm grabbing. It's really easy. I do it every time I get an ink pad. I make sure I get it done so I have all the colors on display. You can see I can fit my scrapbook.com, my color theory from Studio Calico, and my Stamp Market ink pads in there. I also have this storage unit from Amazon, and this one holds my close to my heart ink pads. They are larger and they do not fit in my Organize More storage unit, so I had to grab a different one for them. But I love this one so much. It's much cheaper than the Organize More. It's not made out of wood or anything. It's just really tough cardboard, and that still works for me. It's perfect. It fits all my close to my heart ink pads, and I love that it doesn't take up a lot of space, and everything looks nice and organized. Every time I look at my ink pads, it just brings me so much joy. I love the colors of these ink pads. Okay, let's move on to how I organize my project life cards, my smaller paper pads, and some of my go-to tools. I love these organizers from Totally Tiffany. I believe this brand does not make these anymore, but I did find something very similar on Amazon, and I will make sure to link it down in the description box for you. But these are perfect for storing your project life cards. They have little dividers that you can move around. You can make it as big as you want, as small as you want. It fits the 6x8 paper pads perfectly. You can even add a 12x12 if you wanted to in there. This holds my mega date stamps, my tiny attacher, my alpha stickers, all of it. It can take a lot, and I love these organizers. I've had them for years. They're perfect, and they even fit perfectly right above my stamp storage, which I really, really love. And I have to kind of grow vertically in my craft room because I don't have a lot of space. So this just worked out perfectly. I also wanted to mention that, like my stamps, I do not organize my cards by theme or color. They are organized by brand. Again, that's how my brain works. And every slot in this organizer is a brand. So it just works well for me. I can't work with themes or colors. I just like to go through my cards and look through them and find whatever I'm looking for. I'm going to share this craft tower with you again. Yes, because I love it. It's adorable. It fits all the things. Mine needs to be reorganized, but I'm not going to lie to you. I did not go through my stuff before I started filming this, so you're going to see it as it is. But you can organize your ink pads if you wanted to. I have some spray bottles in there. I have pens. I have my portable printer. Whatever knickknacks you have around your craft room, it will fit. It holds my clips, all that good stuff. And I just really enjoy it. I love that it sits on a Lazy Susan, so you can kind of go through it easily and find what you're looking for. And it sits nicely on the corner there. It's just perfect. And I really, really love this craft tower. Let's move on to another favorite. This is the color case from scrapbook.com. It holds all my Nuvo drops. And what I love about it is that you can flip over your Nuvo drops and all the air goes up to the bottom of the Nuvo drops. So when you are creating with them, they will not explode on your project. And I just love that. Now, the vintage ones do not fit in those little containers or those circles. So I'm okay with just having them sitting there on the bottom portion of this container. I think it's the top, actually. I think it's the top portion of this container. And I just have them all set together. It's just so pretty and colorful. And I love these color cases from scrapbook.com. I also wanted to share with you how I store my Posca pens. These are from Deflecto, and I bought them from Amazon, and I believe scrapbook.com has them as well. And they hold my Posca pens perfectly. Love them. And I believe they are a part of a whole system that you can get from Deflecto or wherever you buy Deflecto brand. And but for me, I just have them sitting on my shelf and they're perfect there. So by the way, I just wanted to share with you real quick. This is the same storage, ink storage from Amazon that I have my close to my heart ink pads in. But these are smaller ink pads and I had extras and I don't have space on my desk. So they went in there. And it works perfectly, again, so you can use it for any size ink pads. Honestly, they don't have to be the large ones. Next up is this wire rack that I got from Amazon. I love it. I'm able to double up in my little cubes from my Calyx shelving unit. As you guys know, it's really hard to double up or, use all the space in these cubes. And this wire rack is perfect for it. And it's a cute way to display more of your mini albums. So basically, I just hook it up to the top cube, and that way I have space to add more albums. By the way, I was lucky to grab the rose gold. I don't know if it's still available. I will look for it. If it is, I will link it in the description box. But I do know they have, I think, black, white, and silver. But if I find the rose gold, I'll definitely make sure to link it down below. Let's have a look at how I store my traveler's notebooks. I use these 2 containers from Amazon. They are divided. They're huge, they're big, and they fit perfectly in my Calyx shelving unit. Anytime I finish a traveler's notebook, it goes in this container. I have them labeled by year, and they fit loads. And that way I can double up all my traveler's notebooks and they will all fit in this cube. If I didn't use this container, I wouldn't be able to store that many traveler's notebooks in one cube. So these containers are perfect for that. And I know a lot of people even use these containers to store their 4x6 stamp sets, which I used to use it for, but I think they work perfectly for my traveler's notebooks as well. Let's talk about this tray cart. I am in love with this tray cart from We Are Memory Keepers. It is perfection. It holds all my ongoing projects. The trays come off so you can move them around, and the cart is on wheels so you can move the whole thing wherever you want in your craft room. It's just perfection. I'm in love with it. Now, I know a lot of people have told me it's sold out at scrapbook.com. That's where I got mine. But they've said that they found it at Joann's. So if I find it, I will link it in the description box for you. But it is perfection. It keeps my craft room clean because now my ongoing projects are not sitting on the floor anymore. They are set nice and neat on this cart, and I love it so, so much. I also wanted to share with you how I store my stamp blocks. I have a lot of stamp blocks, you guys. Some of them are sitting in this little box or plastic box, but I also have some sitting on my desk. Those are the ones I use all the time. But these larger ones, I don't use them all the time, so they sit in this container from Close to My Heart. It's exactly the same container that I store my 6x6 and 8x8 stamps in, but this one is smaller and it's just perfect for organizing my stamp blocks. I love working in traveler's notebooks, and I love traveler's notebook paper. These 4x8 papers are really hard to find like the perfect container for them, but this container worked perfectly for mine. Now, the only downfall is the front of the container is not high enough, so sometimes your papers flop over, but if you add enough paper in there, it won't. So I'm going to show you right now. As you can see, because I have a lot of paper in there, it won't flop over, but if you don't have enough, it will. So I definitely recommend, if you're gonna grab this container, think about that. If that bothers you, don't go for it. I also use it to store my 3x8 page protectors, and they're all sitting in there nice and neat, and it's so easy to flip through my paper and find the paper that I'm looking for. I did mention earlier in the video that I use these envelopes from Close to My Heart and scrapbook.com to store some of my die cuts and stickers. I get a lot of die cut packs from kits, and they're heavily themed, and I don't want them to get lost in my acrylic drawers. So I like to store them in these envelopes, and they're perfect for that. I also store the envelopes in this little mini container, which is very similar to the container I use for my 4x8 papers. It's divided, and you can add the little envelopes in there. They're perfect. I love the sizes of these envelopes. I know scrapbook.com has plenty of sizes to choose from, and nothing's gonna fall out. And I just literally throw my pack of die cuts in there, add them in my container, and have it sitting next to my desk. Last but not least is my Mollie Ollie journal, planner, tote, or caddy. I love this thing. It holds all my planners, my journals, my reading journal, my daily journal, all of it. It holds my pouches, even my Ivy printer and my extra papers. I love that it has pouches on the side. It has a little zip up on the opposite side where you can just kind of add something important in there. I have my printer in there, but it holds all the things. This works perfectly for me, especially that I do not always end up using my planner and journals sitting at my desk. I kind of watch TV and journal, or watch TV and plan my day for the next day, just little things like that. So it's really easy to tote around and nothing will fall out. I just love it so, so much. I also love these pencil pouches, by the way. I got those from Etsy. I will link the shop down in the description box for you, but it is a favorite of mine. I have probably 3 of those pencil pouches. I'm just obsessed, and they're just gorgeous. It holds a lot. This tote is pretty heavy, and I've never had a problem it tearing or falling apart or anything like that. Really love the color. I believe there is a gray one as well. If you're interested, as always, I will link everything in the description box for you. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you got inspired and found new ways to organize your craft room. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.